Tragically, billions of people who are least responsible for greenhouse gas emissions will suffer the most from climate change. Imagine you're a farmer in Kenya. You work a 2-acre farm to feed your family. You produce approximately floods or locusts. Even if there isn't a catastrophic event, the land you rely on is producing less, and you are already on the edge of survival. Worldwide, there are 500 million smallholder farms like this. In many low-income countries, more than half the population works in agriculture. So when small farms fail, whole economies fail. And that means it's so important that we make agriculture more resilient. We need innovations like crops that are resistant to drought, disease, pests, and weeds, digital tools that get farmers the information they need to adjust to changing conditions, financial services from insurance to credit to protect farmers from catastrophic loss. If we're serious about addressing climate change, we have to invest aggressively in 2 goals. First, advancing the technology and policies to get to net zero emissions by 2050. Second, protecting the livelihoods of families in danger of losing them to an already rapidly... This is the greatest opportunity for innovation in human history. We're going to build the trillion-dollar global industries of tomorrow. Some of the solutions we need, like wind and solar power, are already starting to compete with the fossil fuel incumbents they're designed to replace. But for many of the newer technologies, we need to bring down the cost and demonstrate that they work in real-world situations. And so we have to invest in large-scale commercial plants, which the public and private sectors come together to build this scale. We've seen this work before with solar energy, but even in that case, it took 50 years to go from powering calculators to powering cities. And we can't afford to wait 50 years. And that's why Breakthrough Energy is launching the Catalyst program, to bring the next generation of climate solutions to market in time and at a low enough cost to avoid a climate disaster. We're bringing together philanthropists, governments, and leading companies to make bold investments in technologies with great promise, not just to help reduce emissions. They'll also create new high-paying jobs for decades to come. The early investors in these technologies will be recognized for their contributions. That's why we're creating Catalyzed Emissions Reduction Framework, which measures the reductions in emissions and the cost of these new technologies over time. This framework will let our funding partners be recognized for the impact of their contributions. The first 4 technologies we're focusing on are green hydrogen, where we split water molecules in storage so we can use intermittent sources like solar even when the sun isn't shining. Third is sustainable aviation fuel, where we take biological inputs, including municipal waste, and we convert it to replacement jet fuel. Fourth and finally, direct air capture, where we literally take the carbon out of the air and store it away where it'll no longer cause any heating. In science, a catalyst is a substance that accelerates a chemical reaction. Our Catalyst program is designed to accelerate the journey of innovation for the technologies we need to avoid a climate disaster. I'm optimistic we can succeed if we act boldly together. The things we use today. That means that everywhere in the world, energy transitions will be disruptive. Those disruptions will ultimately make us successful. But they also mean finding new ways to manufacture products, generate electricity, move people and cargo from place to place, produce food, and heat and cool our buildings. And these new ways may not use the same workforce or be located in the same place as the old ways. Unfortunately, this conversation sometimes happens as an afterthought, when it's already too late to undo the damage, or without including the communities that are affecting new technologies to replace the ones that emit greenhouse gases. We have to consider the families that depend on the old technologies for a paycheck. If we're thoughtful about it, we can guarantee that the technological transformation we need to address climate change actually creates good, safe jobs and a more equitable, prosperous economy. We need to plan for these transitions, either to the new technology opportunities at the same time as we're inventing the new tools to complete the overall energy transition. We need to work with communities to design transitions that will benefit everyone, including coal miners in West Virginia, factory workers in Ohio and North Carolina, farmers across the American heartland, long-haul truckers in China, and railroad workers who move coal across India. No matter where we live or where we come from, we all want to build stronger communities. The only way to do that is to